Welcome to the state of PA football as PA Football News presents its weekly look at high school football across the state.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in.
Did you know there are 555 total high school football programs in the state? Did you also know there are a total of 58 college programs ranging from D1 to D3 in the state of Pennsylvania? Whether you're a bulldog, a lion, a crusader, an eagle, or a millionaire, we got you covered.
And you already know, turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. So fight and die.
Here at PA Football News, we got you covered. And now, your host, Billy Splain.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the state of PA football. I'm Billy Splain, and on the screen you see a whole bunch of monkey-looking guys. That's part of my staff. So I'm going to welcome everybody. I'm going to start at the top there. When you're looking at your computer on the left-hand side, you got Lindsay. I'm in the center, Billy Splain, over there at the base of Edinburgh. He's our one of our WBC Miami Valley Conference, and he also covers Penn State. He's going to talk a little bit about Penn State for us tonight. Down in the lower left, everybody in southeastern Pennsylvania knows he's really McGonigal. He's a superstar down that way. One of our great newest additions in the last couple of years is Jared Samuel. Jared does a lot of stuff up in the Wyoming Valley Conference and the Lackawanna Football Conference, as well as other areas once we get to the playoffs. But we've gotten the northeastern PA covered pretty well between him and Mason tonight. And over there on the far right on the bottom is Quincy. Quincy Piper is your student at Bloomsburg, right?
Yeah, I'm at Bloomsburg this year.
Yeah, he's a student at Bloomsburg, so he was down at Juniata covering the Mid-Penn Conference for us, but he's going to be doing some stuff up in that area, up in the Bloomsburg area, and you might see him if you're a Muncie or a Houston fan. Look for that face on the sideline, and you might see him guys say, welcome to the show.
Well, hi.
How we doing?
Yeah, how we doing, everybody?
Good to get it.
Welcome to another week.
Good to have you guys on board.
Gonna be a wild one.
Yes, it will.
Absolutely.
Then again, it always is.
Billy, we might have lost your audio.
Yeah, I think we lost your audio.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tough to hear you. Barely hear you.
All right, how's that? Am I back?
Yeah, I don't hear Billy at all.
Check.
He's working on it.
how's that? Better?
Yes.
Yeah, way better.
I apologize for that, folks. I pushed the wrong microphone up.
Sound like a rock
So
star.
anyway,
Yeah, it does.
I went down to Wilmington and watched Troy take on Dover. What a heck of a game that was. Wow. Incredible. Incredible defensive performance. Yep. Well, I noticed that Wilmington had, or Dover had a lot of depth. They were full. They got a lot more players. They got a ton of depth. Troy, not so much depth, but they played very disciplined football, kept them out of the end zone, gave up a field goal early in the first quarter, and that was the only points Dover scored. And it was just a knockdown drag out the whole 4 quarters. It was great, great hitting. If you're a defensive guy like me, the game didn't get any better. But if you're somebody who wants 40, 50 points scored, well, that wasn't the game for you. And I think going forward, Troy's going to be a force to be reckoned with coming up here in the next few weeks ahead.
Thanks, Billy. Thanks for having me on tonight. No, I'll get it on. There we go.
Hey,
Thank you.
Hey, bud.
Yeah.
yeah, that's definitely the word to use it. They moved down from 4A to 3A, and it really hasn't solved their problems right now. They went to Mid Valley, who's a good enough football team, and Jacob Lesher is one of the better players in our area. They actually started out with a lead on a pick six, but since CJ Curry came in, I felt like the notion around everybody and the expectation was this team was just going to be a much better and much improved offensive team. That's not the case. They've scored 7 offensive points in 2 weeks. That's not going to cut it. And at this point last year through 2 games, they had allowed well over 70 points, albeit against better opponents in Southern Columbia and Valley View. But they've only allowed so far through 2 weeks 41 points, which that on average is 20 and a half points. So it should put you in games. And Berwick was in a game last week against Lake Lehman. They were in it early in this one. Mid Valley showed they were the better team late. The team, they're far ways away from competing even at this level. Even moving down to 3A, they still are not within striking distance of some of these other teams right now.
Yeah, listen, they got a lot of guys back on both sides of the ball. They're tough.
They played 2 games so far, and with Berwick's score being defensive, they haven't allowed a point on offense, right? Playing almost 100 minutes of football so far. The defense is incredible. Couple that with how great Lesher is on the ground. That's a tough team that could make a run come November.
all right, so apparently my voice has not been on the broadcast the whole time. So
Welcome to the show, Shane.
Thanks, Billy.
Let me give it a rundown real quick. Guys, my name is Billy Splain. I own PA Football News, and this is our first Zoom meeting, so I had a setting shut off that I didn't have to shut off. So that's on, and we're good to go. We've got, I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself. Lindsay?
I'm Lindsay. I do the Northern Tier League up here in Northeast PA, up by the New York border and down to like the Muncie area.
Mason?
Yeah, I cover Berwick during the regular season, and if and when they get eliminated in the postseason, which has been early in these past couple of years. I picked the best game around the area, so I've been to Danville. I've been up towards Shamokin area when Steel High played South Williamsport last year. And then now on Saturdays after my late Friday night getting home and writing an article, I will be at Beaver Stadium starting this Saturday early. Making that hour and a half drive, but it'll be worth it to be on the sidelines. So that's my weekend, and then
Awesome.
Sunday's my day to just chill out and watch some NFL.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't do the NFL because I'm pretty pissed off at them right now. We're going to talk about that. Willie, your weekend, how'd it go, buddy?
Pretty good. It started out last Thursday night down at the Mid-Atlantic Pigskin Classic. I saw 1.5 good games. The first game was the battle of two teams from Delaware in Howard versus Hodson, with Howard with Hodson winning. And the second half of the game was the number 1 ranked team and the host of the Mid-Atlantic Pigskin Classic. Louisiana took on Episcopal Academy in a game that was 14-7 at the half, and I felt as if Episcopal had the momentum going in to the locker room at half, but then Mother Nature intervened with a thunderstorm that halted play for the night. And when it came back, Episcopal Academy felt that could not do nothing against Louisiana.
I'll tell you what, there's nothing worse than being excited to go to a game and not being able to see the rest of the game. You guys have to agree.
I totally agree. I was looking forward to the second half. And at one point, I looked up at the clock and it was starting counting down from 30. And then an announcement was made that it was in a weather delay thanks to thunderstorms. And that was very disappointing for me.
We're looking good for Friday night. Saturday, it's going to be wet. Mason, you're going to need a raincoat at Penn State.
I'm going to need one Saturday night for a St. Joe's prep game, too.
Yep. Yeah, you will. So, good recap, Willie and Jared. Jared covers Northeast PA for us, and he's usually like everywhere. So, as a matter of fact, Jared just signed up last minute for a game for tomorrow night. Him and his wife tag team these things. She takes great pictures and makes them look good. And Jared writes.
Listen, she definitely makes me look good. I always say, people are like, "Oh, I love your stuff," and I'm like, "My wife is the one making me look good. She's the reason you're clicking on my articles because you see her pictures."
Well, she's a lot better looking and probably a lot softer too.
Yeah, yep, and has a lot more hair in her head.
Yeah. But she's not a bigger football fan than you.
I had no. Yeah, but you know what? She just acquired this love of the game all of a sudden, man. Now she's like, hey, remember when she joined? How can I do that? Let's give Billy a call. Billy, bring her on. We need photographers right now.
Yeah, that was funny. Jared's like, hey, I need you to talk to my wife. She wants to take pictures. So how's your weekend, buddy?
Hey, so Friday night, I got up and saw what actually turned out to be a pretty decent game. Crestwood at Valley View was pretty good. Valley View, honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, based on some of the other performances I've seen of the 4A teams in District 2, I think Valley View is the best one of them. They got 2 good running backs. They were playing with a backup quarterback, and he played great. They looked pretty solid. Crestwood's banged up a lot, so they didn't. But it was a good game. It was a decent game. Saturday, though, we got the opportunity to go down to Loyola Blakefield, Maryland, and see Scranton Prep at Loyola Blakefield. And man, I'll tell you what, talk about a star-studded lineup on the Loyola Blakefield Dons. Man, they were fully on display, and Prep just came down and wasn't intimidated. And honestly, they, like I wrote here, they out-toughed them is really what happened. Their line really just wore them down, and they ended up winning a tight one, 26-23. It was a crazy, wild, awesome game, and we were really pleased that we got the opportunity to go down there. As Billy said, I am going to go up and cover shift and schedule game. I'm going to go cover Pocono Mountain East at Scranton tomorrow night at PFN Field.
We ever covered PME.
Yeah. So I'm going to go up and cover those guys, and I've not done a Thursday night game, so it's like a double yes.
I'm just curious, did you look for a roster yet?
I didn't.
Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, I was working until about 10 minutes before I got on this call, so it's like, hey,
Yeah.
And then Friday night we've got what is looking like, it was looking maybe a little iffy at first, but now looks like a very huge game. It's Canisius, New York, coming down to play Scranton Prep at Veterans Memorial Stadium, so that's going to be a big game. So
they're going to love you at Prep.
They do, man. I get a lot of people reposting our stuff, so definitely it's definitely a good crowd. They love us. They love PF Football News. So shout out to the Prep folks for doing that.
Quincy, where were you this weekend? You gotta unmute yourself.
This past weekend I was at Juniata as the Indians took on the always dangerous Steelton High Spire Steamrollers. That was a pretty good game. I definitely feel like Steel High is definitely not where they once were. They lost a lot to graduation, but I feel like Juniata is a lot better than a lot of people, even myself, a Juniata alumni, give them credit for sometimes.
Interested. I'd love to hear about Steel High a little more. How they look, how the quarterback looked.
Their quarterback looked okay, but it's nothing like Alex Irby, obviously. I mean, he's the Division I talent he is. But anyways, it's like I think that looks like a group of football players. They don't exactly gel well as a team yet, and like they're a small squad, so like almost everybody's playing both ways. So by the time the second half came around, like they almost look just winded. And Juniata has like a lot of depth. They're a pretty big squad, so they were able to do whatever they wanted, whether that be run the ball or throw that the limited times they did.
Yeah, remembering that basically Steel High is a single A team that got bumped up to double A, and they're playing a 4A team in Juniata, so we got to remember that. So yeah,
you are right. They'll still be good.
Yeah, Shane's always like at 45 games a weekend. So Shane, how was your weekend?
Oh, it was a pretty good weekend. Well, it started out, we were down in Pittsburgh. It was interesting. I actually went from Pittsburgh to Cleveland in one weekend. I don't think I'd ever done that before. But, I was down in Couples Stadium for the game against with Westinghouse and Lindsley. And, Westinghouse, they took care of business in that one. I mean, they definitely look like a state caliber team. Winning that game 52-0. Like I said on our rankings meeting, it was the first time in a very long time that Lindsley had gotten beaten by 50-plus points. That's a pretty good program if you follow any football in West Virginia at all. So, I got a chance to see that. Then on Friday night, it was over at Grove City. Got to see a good football game there. Low-scoring game, but a good game between Fairview and Grove City, 13-6 final in that one. And then, of course, on Saturday, it was the big one between St. Edward and St. Joe's Prep. And, it was interesting enough. St. Edward put up 35 points, and it all came in about an 8-minute span in the second quarter. I don't think I'd ever seen a game like that. It all started with St. Joe's actually was the one team that was driving. They were threatening early in the second quarter. They ended up having to punt from the St. Edward territory and ended up going in the end zone for a touchback, a 5-yard penalty against St. Joe's, and then a 75-yard touchdown run for St. Edward. Kind of opened up the floodgates in that game. And then, the very next play, there's a penalty in the kickoff. St. Joe's starts inside their own 10-yard line, I believe at the 6. They end up going 3 and out. That leads to a block punt for a touchdown. And then, after that, it all just went awry for them at that point, because they had the next play, they fumbled a kickoff, leads to a short field and a touchdown. They throw an interception on the first play from scrimmage, leads to another short field and a touchdown. St. Joe's goes down and scores, and then they return the kick for a touchdown in the final minute to go 35-7. But St. Joe's really got their legs underneath them in that second half. That was the one thing I'll say about them. And they're going to be fine. I don't know how much of it had to do with the fact that it was their first game of the season, 6 hours away. St. Edward had already gotten a game under their belt against a very good opponent. So I'm looking, again, it's been a fun season so far, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it.
Yeah. So am I. I mean, like we all are. So this next segment, let's do hot takes. I'm going to read some scores off. Let me get your opinions on some of these scores. Down to District 1, PJP 18, Newman Goretti 0. Thoughts, Willie?
I was a little surprised by that. I know PJP is a great team. They lost a lot from last year's state playoff team, but yet they also have a lot coming back. So I was a little bit surprised that they shut out Newman Goretti, because Newman Goretti is a Philadelphia Catholic Power, but that's a great win for them.
Strathaven 14, Pencrest 10. What a battle for Pencrest.
A great battle for Pencrest. Pencrest is on the Paul Graham, who's in his second tenure at Pencrest. His first tenure, he led them to a couple playoff appearances, and now he's back again after, ironically, being an assistant coach at Garden Valley, who Pencrest will play tomorrow night in a game in which I will be there for. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Pencrest and battles Garden Valley tomorrow night.
Bethlehem Liberty 15, Allentown Central Catholic 14, down in District 11 in what we call the toughest division in the state of PA. What is it? Why is that division? The EPC. The EPC. It's a slobber knocker down there. Allentown Central Catholic lost a bunch of guys in the offseason, and they transferred to another school out of state, 5 of them. They still have a couple of big guys, struggled against the Liberty team, who seems to be resurging. So that's my opinion on that one. Manheim Township 28, Central York 10. My opinion on that one, I was there for that game. Township looked good. Their running back, Declan Clancy, just really good running back. He can move. He's got some power. But on the small side, he's not the kind of back that you want to give the ball to 25, 30 times, that's for sure. Manheim Township is a running team. Central York, I love Jerry Onchik, but he's got a lot of work to do. The line was small. They were ineffective in the air and on the ground. They couldn't do anything. And they even brought the cheerleaders brought the wrong banner to the game. So that might have been the beginning of the end right there. I never saw anything like that before. I was like, beat the Lions. What do I know about the Blue Streaks? Westinghouse 52-0 Lindsley. Shane, you were at the game, but you had a pretty cool stat about that game.
Yeah. Like I said, I heard from one of the Lindsley stat people told me that was the first time in around. They didn't know the exact date, but it was around 70 to 8, or somewhere between. They said 75 to 90 years was the first time they got beat by 50 plus points in a game. So I was like, wow. And what? My biggest takeaway from that is, I know Westinghouse had the injury earlier this year to the Robinson kid, which is unfortunate for them, but that's a really good looking football team again. And they're and again, they battled Beaver, who we knew was going to be good in 3A at the beginning of the year. Talking with Coach after the game, he mentioned how he felt like they let that one get away from him. I know they were up 12-0, ironically, they were up 12-0 also against Lindsley, but that it wasn't going to be. It certainly wasn't going to be a repeat. They dominated that game from start to finish, and I was very impressed with Westinghouse.
All right, Mount Union 20, Berlin Brothers Valley 7. I think as a rankings team, we were shocked by this one. Berlin, Doug Paul does a great job down there. They have a huge roster. Mount Union, on the other hand, I really wanted to watch this film, and I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. But Mount Union is scraping by with numbers, and they topple one of our ranked teams in Berlin Brothers Valley. Here's another one that really, Peters Township 42, McKeesport 7. McKeesport, we brought them out ranked. They have yet to win a game. What's going on there, Shane?
Well, I'll tell you what. I haven't seen either team yet. We do, and really, the only thing I think that could be said to this point is McKeesport, make no mistake about it, has played two very tough football teams at the beginning of the year. Now, I will say that I probably thought they would have been able to be a little more competitive with Peters Township, but take nothing away from Peters Township. We know that's a phenomenal football team that's going to be in it for the long haul. So I think, again, they have obviously some newer pieces. They have some veteran guys back, but sometimes, when you come out and when you take it on the chin the first couple weeks against really good opponents, sometimes teams respond well to that, and sometimes that they don't. But McKeesport, I think once they start getting into more of the easier part of their schedule coming up, I think we're going to start seeing them win a lot of games, and I think they'll be okay moving forward. I mean, obviously, when you play the schedule they did right out of the gate, that's tough. There's not a lot of teams that we're going to start 2-0 or even 1-1 playing that schedule. I'll say that.
Yeah, I hear you. Another score that we all popped our eyeballs at was Pine Richland 22, Central Catholic 17. That was Central Catholic. Here's a stat. I don't know if you guys saw this. It went out today. There are only 2 6A Whitfield teams that have won a game so far this year.
Yeah, that surprised me when I saw that. I don't think anyone saw that coming.
No, that's a weird one. TJ beat Central Valley 27-13. They have yet to win a game. We had them ranked first. Southern Columbia 47, Loyal Sox 0. What that shows is Southern Columbia is back to form. Loyal Sox lost a ton of people. Red Bank Valley 38, Rockaway 21. Red Bank Valley has a big game this week. I think Phil's going to see that one, our pro team. So Red Bank Valley, Coach Gold has it going on out there. They're throwing all kind of crazy numbers out there. Bethlehem Freedom 30, Parkland and 13. Parkland drops out of our rankings. Freedom comes in. Freedom's looking like a really good football team right now. Down at EPC South. Twin Valley 40, Selinsgrove 10. Coach, Selinsgrove's a good team, but Twin Valley put it to them. I wish we had Matt here. He was at that game, but he said he was very impressed with Twin Valley. Donegal 43, Columbia 12. They win the Battle for the Rock. We were down there live last week. It was one of the best shows we ever did. It was awesome. We had a lineman pie eating challenge and everything. It was awesome. Here's another one that I haven't had a chance to look at film, and I will tomorrow. Ephrata 31, Manheim Central 14. They clocked one of our teams that we had in the top 5 in 5A. Amazing. Old Forge and Dunmore. Old Forge 46, Dunmore 43, Jared.
Yeah, you know what? We keep saying this. I think, Lindsay, you said it, and I think some other guys said it. Eventually, Old Forge only stays down for so long. They've had such a history, and eventually they get it back together. And honestly, it's this Kale Krasnowski, man. That kid is killing it. He had a great, I believe it was a punt return for a touchdown or a kick return for a touchdown. And that kid just gets it done on the ground. He really does. They're going to be a little bit of a handful. And there's now talk of people saying, hey, Lackawanna Trail's beatable in that 1A. Maybe this is the year that Old Fort sneaks in. I'm not a believer on that one yet, but boy, I'll tell you what. And Dunmore, and they just lost a lot of guys. I mean, they had that great run last year, lost to Southern, but they played some great football down the stretch, and they lost just a lot of guys. So hopefully they can reload.
Yeah. Old Ford, they're that team that like every 3 years, and then they're good for 2 years.
Right.
And
Yep,
then they're not.
that's
Here's
right.
another shocker. Down in District 11, Tamaqua 35, North Schuylkill 17. North Schuylkill, we put them in the rankings, we took them back out. So Tamaqua must have something going on. We'll find out more about them later when we talk about big games. Canton 17, South Williamsport 8. Lindsay.
Well, I think Canton isn't done with their run yet. They still have the season, and I think next year they're going to slow down a little bit, but then after that they're going to pick back up. But until that happens, the season, man, their schedule and stuff, they look like they're going to be right in there at the end. So we're going to find out. I'm going to go see them on Saturday. They're going to play Athens.
And we got Wyoming area 49, Dallas 41, Jared.
So the story so far with Dallas is injuries on defense. They came out so strong. And I'm going to tell you guys that they had Jersey Shore beat. They had them beat with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, and then injury in that defensive secondary. The air and beat them. When you don't have that, you're shuffling guys around. You're moving a linebacker back to play secondary and things, and that's exactly what happened. And when you don't have all-state defensive back Nick Malarkey there, who's good on both sides of the ball, and you're missing shift a linebacker back to cover, they're going to run the ball all over you. And honestly, we're surprised. I was very surprised they stayed in that game. Lidge Kellum for Wyoming area had over 300 yards rushing against Dallas. I mean, that's just unheard of against a defense like that. And it's just crazy to even think about it. But I will say this. I keep telling every Warriors are tough. They play. I met them. I talked to them at Wyoming Valley Conference Media Day, and they just walk around like nobody really respects us. So we're just going to go out in the field and show you. And so far, they've done it.
Yeah, they have. Final two games. Well, we mentioned Troy and Dover. We talked about them. And Harrisburg 35, Bishop McDevitt 33. What a battle that was down there. Last week, I said that Harrisburg had a lot of work to do. If Harrisburg played last week the way they did this week with Jayon Lewis at quarterback, they may have given LaSalle a battle. I don't know that they'd have won it. I still think Harrisburg has some line issues, especially with Kevin Brown being out this year, unfortunately due to that foot injury. But it was a different team. But we also have to take in consideration that this is the first time in 7 years these two have played, and this is a game that it's probably the most heated rivalry right now there is in the state of Pennsylvania. I mean, it's ugly. The place was packed. There was a million people there. Okay, there was, I would say 6,000. It was a jam-packed stadium at Bishop McDevitt, and it was a great game. McDevitt almost won. They literally missed winning that game by 6 inches at the end of the game as time expired. But, that's why you play the game. So that's our big games from last week. Hey, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors, and we're going to talk to Ryan Thielett, and we're going to talk Pitt football. So hang tight. We'll be right back.
At PAFootballNews.com, we've got you covered. If you're looking for the best coverage of high school football in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, check out PAFootballNews.com. From schedules to rankings, game coverage to Friday night scoreboard, live streams, and more, PA Football News is the one-stop shop for everything high school football in Pennsylvania. Follow us on Twitter at PAFootballNews and visit us at PAFootballNews.com. We got you covered.
Circle W Sports is the complete all-in-one platform for high school sports, designed by former athletes, coaches, and athletic directors. Circle W Sports gives school and team personnel an easier solution to run their entire athletic departments with the help of these features. League Manager makes creating master schedules a breeze. Configure your divisions, build schedules, track league all-stars, and much, much more. Referee Manager helps assign and track game officials in the same platform. And with RefPay, your officials can get paid within hours instead of days or weeks. Enjoy live scoring and statistical services through our Performance Tracker and Stat Tracker apps. Learn how to track your workout or camp and combine statistics in real time. Then create any type of report after your results are tallied. The Stat Tracker app helps keep your fans involved, whether they are in the stands or at home, with live in-game stats. For more information, visit CircleWSports.com, the official online platforms of PA Football News and the PSFCA Big 33.
CoachCom is the proven and trusted leader in coaching communications. For over 30 years, we've built our business on innovation and winning, with the goal to equip your team with the best coaching communication available. 97% of all FBS programs and thousands of high schools and colleges across the U.S. choose CoachCom because CoachCom has the experience and the know-how to provide the very best in technology. CoachCom is the proven and trusted leader in coaching communications. For over 30 years, we've built our business on innovation and winning, with the goal to equip your team with the best coaching communication available. 97% of all FBS programs and thousands of high schools and colleges across the U.S. choose CoachCom because CoachCom has the experience and the know-how to provide the very best in technology and winning solutions.
And we're back here in the state of PA football. As we went to break, I told you guys we were going to come back and we were going to talk some Pitt football. But we got one shocker that I left off the list on purpose because I felt like this needs to be talked about by itself. Up in District 10, what happened there, Shane?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Well, that Farrell Fort LaBeouf game, I was following that game all night, and Farrell led it pretty much throughout the contest there. And the weird thing about that was they were up 28-13 in the fourth quarter, and Fort LaBeouf scores 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, including a 76-yard run by Dominic Walters with about, I want to say, around 2 minutes to play. He also runs in the subsequent 2-point conversion to go up 29-28, and the Bison, they find a way to hold on for the victory there. That was the shock of the night in Northwest PA for sure. I don't think anybody saw that one coming. I know Jules John, he had over 300 yards. He's got around 600 yards in 2 games, but I don't think he cares much, and nor do the Steelers sitting at 0-2. And they got another big game coming up against Ursuline this Friday night. I know the last time they were 0-2, they did go on to win the state title, but they got some. They got some things they got to work out. And as for Fort LaBeouf, boy, that's one of the biggest wins in program history, certainly in recent program history. Shout out to Coach Bloss and the Bison up there in Waterford.
Yeah, that's crazy. And Fort LaBeouf has a tough game this week, too, with the Quarry team that we're going to talk about later on in the broadcast. So welcome to our show, right there in the bottom middle, where I think Jan normally would be on the Brady Bunch. Ryan Thiele. And over there on the right, on the bottom corner, Ed Nicola. Ed is a statewide guy. He pretty much knows football all over the state of Pennsylvania, but he's a Whitfield guy. So welcome to the show, Ed. Glad to have you here.
Thanks, Billy.
All right, hey, let's get right into this Pitt football thing. Ryan, talk about Pitt.
I'll tell you what. Coming into this year was a lot of questions with this team. This is a 3rd year in a row that we've had a transfer come in from a different school. A lot of questions at quarterback. Another quarterback battle since Kenny Pickett came in and played for us. But going to that game, there was excitement in the building, which I know a lot of people who follow Pitt football have seen on media. There's a lot of excitement. There's a buzz about this team this year. I mean, I'm not saying that we're going to be in that 12-team playoffs because we are nowhere even near a 12-team playoff. But it's a different buzz from last year. The offense I get it, we're playing Kent, and it's not like a big Power 4 conference team, but this offense is something to watch. I just want to get started with the quarterback, Eli Holstein. Again, the transfer I was talking about, he's at Alabama. He was in Nick Saban's last recruiting class. He was redshirted his freshman year, so he has the extra year of eligibility. In his first start, he went 30 for 40, 336 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 pick. For a kid who's made his first career FBS start, that's a solid performance, no matter who he's playing. And then if you go back and watch the tape on the game, he looked poised in the pocket. He didn't look like he was scattered, didn't know what was going on with the offense. He looked poised and knew what he was doing. And then we just got a new offense corner this year, Cade Bell, came from Eastern Carolina from the FCS level. What he also brought over is an explosive running back named Desmond Reed. I don't know if you guys seen any clips on ESPN from his 78-yard punt return where he went from one side of the field to the other side of the field and then turned up the field. That speed, that camera doesn't give him enough credit for how fast that kid is. That is a kid who could be a track star, but he's built like a football player. He's a fast power back. He reminds me, now I hate doing like NFL comparisons, but he reminds me of like a Jalen Warren, a small, compact back who can take the first hit and then just keep going up the field. And then going to the defense is questionable. They let in a couple points, and they came out very spotty in the second half. And they lost a lot of talent on the defense side of the ball with transfers, with 2 of them going to Colorado, which we all saw perform on Thursday. 2 key linebackers, but that's where they were struggling this year again, is getting pressure into the backfield. And you could see that against a MAC conference, and that's what is a little bit of a worry going further into when we start playing the Power 4 conference teams. Moving away from last week, this week that we play our first Power 4 conference team, which is Cincinnati. Where this rivalry, if you guys are familiar, is called the River City rivalry. This is the 14th total meeting, with Pitt leading 8-5 in the series. They lost last year 27-21, but in my opinion, Pitt had a good quarterback that wasn't named Phil Jakovic. If you guys don't know, Phil Jakovic was a former Pine and Richmond quarterback. He was supposed to go to Pitt, but left Pitt, went to Notre Dame instead, and then started bouncing around in college football. He was a 5th-year, 6-year COVID senior. But if we
He was the protege from the Whippeal from Pine Ridge. I mean, like he was the next Ron Paulus, and he turned out to be the next Ron Paulus.
Yeah, it was hard. I'm not saying I don't want to be mean, but it was hard to watch from the fans, fans sitting up in the seats, especially when I got onto the field and started covering it. And that was our problem with the quarterback position last year, and that's what cost us at the end for that Cincinnati game. But this year, with this offensive firepower that we have from the running backs, from the receiving core, from this new spread offense, where for the first year in a long time, Pitt, it does not have a power pro football style system. They're running a spread offense, which we're now seeing now on the NFL level, which is fun to see because you're seeing guys you're in 5 wide, then you're running the ball straight up the middle. Something that us Pittsburgh fans have never seen in our NFL level or in our college level before. So I feel like this Pitt team has something special in it. It's just the fact that they can be consistent, in my opinion.
That's a good recap for Pitt football. Appreciate your time being here, Ryan. You can stick around and talk with Whippeal later on if you'd like. If you got somewhere to go, we get it, you're in school, you probably have classes and all that stuff going on. But then again, Mason's sitting right here, and he's not going anywhere. So,
I got you. I'll stick around for a little Whippeal.
All right, man. All right. Right now, we're going to punish you because you're a Pitt guy. I know you're a Pitt guy, and you're a Pitt reporter, but we're going to switch scenes here. We're going to bring Mason into the center. Mason, Penn State football last week and this week.
Yeah, how about it? I mean, I was a little bit skeptical coming into this week 1 game. West Virginia last year was one of the hottest teams in the entire country last year. They have one of the top quarterbacks in the country in Garrett Green. Their running back last year as a freshman, Jaheim White, had 7.7 yards a carry. You just don't do that as a freshman. Rocking the number 1 for West Virginia, Tavon Austin back in the day and whatnot. He was fairly bottled up in this game, and it was a very, very tough environment, albeit the delay kind of sucked some of the air out of Morgantown. But for years now, Penn State has been a team that's been good, not great. They haven't been able to get over the Ohio State and Michigan hurdle, kind of like Ryan Day now at Ohio State, where all he really cares about and all the organization cares about in the program is beating Michigan. That's kind of transcended to what James Franklin has. They care about, can you beat Ohio State? Can you beat Michigan? They don't play Michigan this year. They have Ohio State at home. And going in to Morgantown, West Virginia, which was on the short list this week of the toughest places to play. You could argue it was probably the second or third toughest place to play. You know, you had Kyle Field at Texas A&M against Notre Dame, was probably the toughest place to play. The Swamp, even though Florida got manhandled against Miami, and then Morgantown. This is a team that has been buzzing from last season with a QB and running back coming back together. But this Penn State team, I know it's just week 1 in college football, and so many different things can happen. They seem legit. Now, are they in that upper echelon right now with Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, and Alabama? No, but I think right now they're not as far down as a tier. They're in that second tier with Oregon, with Notre Dame, with Ole Miss, with a chance to move up. And I think this has been a perfect storm for Penn State in the offseason, the 12-team playoff expansion. Not having to play Michigan this year, who they haven't beaten in quite some time. Having Ohio State at home, and where in seasons past, if you lose to Ohio State, your season's over. Now you can go contend for a playoff spot, potentially have a home game at Beaver Stadium. And Drew Aller last year had the second highest touchdown interception ratio in all of FBS college football. Didn't perform in the big games. Against Michigan and Ohio State last year, he only averaged 130 yards per game. This game only threw 17 passes, 11 of them are completions, and 3 of them are touchdowns for 216 yards. Uber efficient, had an amazing game, really did not let the crowd get to him later in the game. Early, there were definitely some jitters. Penn State had a bad snap, gave it to West Virginia. West Virginia had a bad snap, right back to Penn State. But in the overall landscape of college football, this is a team that I don't think Penn State fans should be completely convinced yet, but I think this is the best chance Penn State has had to go win a national championship. Again, just week 1 against a West Virginia team. We'll see how they fare. This is the best chance they've had since they've had Saquon Barkley and since they were coming off of that Rose Bowl loss to USC. Best chance they've had. They should be able to make the 12-team playoff this year. They will have tough games, like USC took down LSU this weekend. USC is going to be a very tough team. In the Coliseum, all 26 USC fans will be there in the USC Coliseum, putting that place about 1 out of 100% packed. Anyway, this is going to be a team that should win 10 or 11 games and should make the playoff. Going in, I think they were a top 5 most impressive team of the weekend in college football. You got to say Miami going into Florida and whooping them. Notre Dame at A&M. Georgia looked good, and then Penn State. So it is about as an ideal of a week 1 start for Penn State to get those road games and those tough road environments out of the way early. So when you do have to travel to Wisconsin and see some of these other big-time road games, they will already be battle-tested in an electric environment. I would say this is a solid A performance for Penn State, and they set themselves up, I think, to compete come December, come January, and be in that race. Not a front runner right now, but they're not too far behind.
And this week, Bowling Green.
Yeah, Bowling Green this week. Bowling Green's not a bad team. I mean, Bowling Green in the MAC, If you ever watched midweek Maction on Tuesday and Wednesdays, they're a good enough team. Penn State comes in 32-point favorites. We'll see how the crowd reacts and how their performance will be, which is a huge thing for Penn State, having the second largest stadium only behind the Big House in the entirety of the United States and entirety of North America. We'll see how the fans perform. I'll be on the sideline there with live tweets for the game. They can't take Bowling Green. They can't take them lightly because this is a team that will contend and be one of the teams in the MAC conference that can go out and win it. 7-6 a year ago. They played Power 5 teams or Power 4 teams now from last year. So I don't think it's going to be a complete walk in the park. Should they win handily? Yes. Will it be a 50 to 60 point win? No. I think Bowling Green has some juice in them to make a moment out of it. But if Penn State is into the second half and it's really a close game, then we start to reevaluate. But they got Bowling Green, Penn State, and then they start their Big Ten action. So some tune-up games after a week 1 test. It should be an easy 3-0 start for Penn State.
That's how it goes, man. Hey, speaking of, thanks for that recap there, and going into the future of Penn State, Mason, good job. Hey, guys, there was a team out there that won, and the other team lost, and because that happened, somebody was going to eat something that came out of their dog. Has anybody seen anything about that? Like, have they found that guy?
Yeah, that's Florida State Boston College. This guy said he would eat dog crap.
Yeah.
The lead at his post, and there's this one guy at Barstool Sports that is found this guy. He's emailing him. He's texting him. He's saying, "You got to eat it. You got to eat it. You got to eat it." The guy's blocking him on every single site, but he's not letting him live down. So if you drink a couple of beers, do not go out on Twitter or X and tweet some nonsense, especially when your team is Florida State and the way they've started.
Yeah, social media can be your downfall in life. That's for sure. Hey, listen, we're going to take a break. Great job, guys, on the college stuff. We're going to come back. We're going to talk hot takes. We're going to talk about what's going around and what's coming down and what's happening in the state of PA. We'll be right back. This is the PA Football News.com, the state of PA football. We'll be right back.
CoachCom is the proven and trusted leader in coaching communication. Years we've built our business on innovation and winning with the goal to equip your team with the best coaching communication available. 97% of all FBS programs and thousands of high schools and colleges across the U.S. choose CoachCom because CoachCom has the experience and the know-how to provide the very best in technology and winning solutions.
Yeah, go route. It's been phenomenal. I think just the ability when you got guys from all over the state and everyone's got things going on and trying to get organized and practice. Taking the language out of the offense and just giving these guys the ability to just go and learn on the fly from it. It's my first experience ever with it, and it's phenomenal. I would certainly use it.
I would recommend becoming an official because you can feel like you're a part of a sport that you love.
We officiate for the athletes and for the sport that we love, and so as long as you keep them first, then it's going to be a great experience.
So the money I've made from officiating for the past few years, I've put all that money into savings to pay to finish my college education. In 6 months when I complete that, I will not be in any debt.
My name is Carlos Bradley. I'm a former NFL player and currently chairman of Safer Sports. What is Safer Sports? We are a soft shell technology company. Our product, the Safer Helmet Cover, has been tested at Virginia Tech Helmet Lab and is proven to reduce the risk of concussion by as much as 77%. So if you have a youth league, a high school or a college, and you want to be safer, get in touch with safersports.com.
Circle W Sports is the complete all-in-one platform for high school sports, designed by former athletes, coaches, and athletic directors. Circle W Sports gives school and team personnel an easier solution to run their entire athletic departments with the help of these features. League Manager makes creating master schedules a breeze. Configure your divisions, build schedules, track league all-stars, and much, much more. Referee Manager helps assign and track game officials in the same platform. And with RefPay, your officials can get paid within hours instead of days or weeks. Enjoy live scoring and statistical services through our Performance Tracker and Stat Tracker apps. Learn how to track your workout or camp and combine statistics in real time. Then create any type of report after your results are tallied. The Stat Tracker app helps keep your fans involved, whether they are in the stands or at home, with live in-game stats. For more information, visit CircleWSports.com, the official online platforms of PA Football News and the PSFCA Big 33.
Okay, welcome back everybody to the State PA Football. I'm Billy Splain. These guys are my staff all over the place here. Like Brady Bunch. We have like six. The guy in the dark there, that's Ed Nicola. He lives in a cave. So what's going on around the state, guys? What do you guys want to talk about? Willie? I know you had a subject.
Let's talk about the Eagles playing on Friday night and how that will affect the crowds.
Yeah, not a fan. Anybody else?
Not a fan. And they play the London games on Sunday, and I keep seeing that take, and I think that's the way to go. It's not like it's any further. This is nonsense. This is money grab, and it's sad, and it hurts. It hurts the kids. So, especially down where Willie's at. Terrible.
Yeah, it's horrible everywhere.
I could not agree more, Jared, especially being that there's some big games this Friday night that are going to be now taken away from it. I mean, if you think about it, and the game I'm doing tomorrow night, Garnet Valley Pancrest was actually moved up so that way they could get a good crowd. Which
that was pretty smart.
I'm happy. Yeah, which is a smart move, but it's a move that they should not have to do because the NFL is so greedy when it comes to this. I mean, let's look at the schedule for Friday night. You have Pokemon Valley going to Downtown West, in which should be a phenomenal football game, and they're probably going to be playing in a mostly empty Cotton Mile Stadium. And then in the Central League, you have two of the traditional Central League powers, Graft Haven going on the road at Ridley in a meeting of Central League powers, and that's probably going to be an empty crowd too, which is it's not fair to the kids who work so hard and only get each team is only guaranteed 10 regular season games. It's not fair to them that but the NFL is being greedy that they are having to lose out on playing in front of a big time crowd.
In my perfect world, everyone who goes to high school football games on a regular basis boycotts that game. Doesn't go to the game. They don't turn it on their TV. And you know, it's not just the crowds that they're trying to work around. You're in Philadelphia. The last thing you want to do on a Friday night is try to get to a high school football game when there's an Eagles game going on.
Exactly, and I know I'm one of the ones that I'll be going up to Owen J. Roberts on Friday night, and you know what? I'm looking forward to that game more, and don't have any interest in the Eagles game.
I don't have any interesting. Like Are any of you guys huge NFL fans? Because that's not me. Mason is. And
Huge
Ryan.
NFL fan.
Yeah,
And I just want
huge
to play.
NFL fan.
I want to play devil's advocate here because I understand you guys are a little bit mad, but at the same time, shouldn't high school not play on Saturdays because it'll take away from college crowds?
No.
Shouldn't high school not play on Thursdays? It's going to take away from a Thursday night game? You can, nitpick every single different day, say there's this here, there's this here. I'll be following the Eagles Packers on my phone as I'm at Lackawanna Trail. I don't think it's going to be a ghost town wherever you go. Of course, it
will be in Philadelphia.
I guess it's an inconvenience. I'm not overly worried about it. There's days where you can't tread water the whole time and you can't be too cautious about it. It's not like the NFL is having this every single Friday. It's a one-off game in Brazil. It's a cool thing on a Friday, so it's a kickoff weekend. I'm not too worried about it. I understand where you guys are coming from, but I won't lose sleep over it.
So why didn't they do it on Saturday?
Agreed.
Or it's like Jared made the point that they do the games out in London on Sunday and have play Sunday morning. Why can't they schedule that game for Sunday morning?
Because Brazil's in the same time zone as us. They're not going to play at 9:30 in the morning.
It's an hour, 1 hour difference. So there's no reason they can't play that. Make that the Sunday night game. I mean,
I watched
I don't know what the Sunday night game is.
8:00 in the morning from Ireland. And so did hundreds of thousands, if not millions of others.
I remember last year when Bonner went out to Ireland. I remember waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning, our time, just to watch that game.
I had a tailgate on my back for the Penn State game. We did tailgate. We made some Irish breakfast. What are those goofy little eggs? I forget they are. So we did that. The problem is that I see Mason is the NFL knows Friday night is like high school football religion on Friday night. Yeah. They play on Saturdays once in a while because A, right now there's a referee shortage. B, some teams don't have lights. So that's why you see Saturday games because teams don't have lights. So that's pretty much the most of the reason why there are some Saturday games. And those teams suffer because of college football. I mean, I can guarantee you if there was a Saturday game anywhere near us here in Center County, the stadiums would be empty because everybody around here goes to Penn State. So that's why you very rarely see a Saturday game anywhere near me. Harrisburg would be the closest. And they play Saturday afternoons. Why? Because they can't use their lights at night where they're at. So they have to play Saturday afternoon.
Again, I understand where you guys are coming from, but I can't blame the NFL for this, okay? Because they get to call it, the pros for this, they get to call it the biggest kickoff week of all time because you have the most games being played.
But they could have done it on Saturday.
They could have, okay, but they couldn't call it the biggest kickoff week of all time because they've done that in the past. So they get to market that they have the biggest kickoff week of all time, and they get to expand into different countries, which has been a huge thing for the NFL. They've been playing in London since the mid 2000s, and they moved to Germany and whatnot.
Where are they this year?
They're in Brazil, I think. Sao Paulo.
That's the country.
They're in Brazil. They have to go
to
Germany this year, but. Mason, what? All this game is a publicity stunt for the NFL. The only thing the NFL cares about is the money. They don't care about the high school crowd, the high school teams in Philadelphia that are going to have to suffer now and miss out on a big time game. Like, I guarantee you, last year I was at the Downtown West Gilman Valley game, and they had a great crowd at Cotton Meyer Stadium. I guarantee you, Friday night there ain't gonna be a crowd. And has Downtown West Coach Tom Klein pointed out, it's not fit. the high school kids only get 10 chances. There's 16 NFL games in the regular season, and there's no reason that the NFL had to play on a Friday night, other than the bottom line of Roger Goodell and the owners are a bunch of greedy folks.
Yeah, we're ready, PJ. I knew you were good. I knew you were good.
That's pretty good, Willie. I'm proud of you, buddy.
Way to be tough on that. You know, I mean, Shane, what if it was a Pittsburgh Steelers game? I saw Bob Greenberg tweeting out like he'd be heartbroken. He wouldn't know what to do. He'd be beside himself. This is Bob Greenberg, who was a big sports fan. And he was just like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine what I would do if it was a Steelers game. And he has to broadcast games. So he's thinking, wow. I mean, you guys.
I know Bob, and I know that would be a tough decision for him.
I think so.
But the one thing, here's what I'll say. Yeah, I'll say this, that I think the biggest thing is people are going to go where they want to go, and they're going to see the game they want to see and follow who they want to follow. You know, whether that's the NFL, whether it's college, or whether it's high school. And if there's a conflicting schedule, whatever means more to them, they're going to be there. And I think as far as the high schools are concerned, I mean, you know, the parents are going to be there to watch their kids and cheer on their sons and their daughters and that are the cheerleaders and the band members. For the rest of the community, yeah, I mean, if the NFL means more, that's where they're going to be. If high school means more, that's where they'll be. You know, that's the way I'd look at it.
They're Shane on neutral.
Well, to be honest, this year, if Steelers did play on a Friday, I don't think anybody will go because I don't think anybody's excited for this NFL season for the Steelers. It's going to be a rough one for us.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on who you are, right?
As a Ravens fan, I'm looking forward to the Steelers being down.
It's going to be rough.
Don't hold your breath, Willie.
Yeah. I used to be a Dolphins fan, but I put my stuff in the closet a long time ago, like 25 years ago, and I've had people saying, "This is the year you can get your stuff out," and then they just choke. So I gave up on the NFL.
Also, one thing here about this whole thing: high school games start at 7:00, right? The NFL is going to be on at 8:20, so it's not like it's directly aligning. So the 80-minute difference, I think, will make it as not much of a doomsday like you guys are predicting with a ghost town of nobody being there, because it is a distance apart in terms of time that a high school game will be into the second half by the time the NFL starts.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just bailing on games. What's going to happen? They're going to go to the game for the first hour, then they're going to leave. We see it a lot when it rains. Jesse Nagel over Boulevard area. They web stream their games. When it rains, his attendance is about 50% down because they stay home and they watch it on the big screen. Which is a difference. And it's different than what you're saying, Mason. But we do give people convenience.
You got to put your mic closer to your mouth.
If somebody's saying like, I'm going to stay at home and watch the Eagles game because it's on TV rather than go out and watch a high school game because it's cold and rainy or whatever. You know, I can see that kind of hat. But yeah, it's the same as like every week. College has Friday night games now. It's just like Saturday is college, Sunday is NFL. Friday was high school. And yes, we do Thursday nights because we have referee shortages. If we had the referees, it would be different. But it was a good subject. We heard from everybody. We heard from Mason, who is okay with it. We heard from a couple of guys like Willie and myself who are not. We heard from Shane, who gave the right down the middle punch. So we heard from everybody. Hey, great topic. Anybody else have anything? I can tell you one thing I saw. Well, actually two. So we're talking rare things in football. On Thursday night, there was a fumble on the play. Mannheim Township fumbled the ball. And Central York scooped it up and ran it back. As soon as the player scooped it, one of the referees blew the whistle. The player was not down. It wasn't even close. But the referee blew the whistle. So they negated the touchdown. It was like a 50-yard touchdown run. And they had to replay it down. So that's not something you see every day. And then the next day at the Harrisburg McDevitt game, I saw it again. So I thought, it was at the Belfont game. Belfont and Chestnut Ridge. I saw it again. So I saw two inadvertent whistles in two games in a row. That's weird.
I don't know if I'm not a high school referee, but I don't know if they teach this at the high school level. I know they do in the NFL. Even if you think it's a clear and obvious that he was down, you still have to let the runner get into the end zone, because then you could go back and overturn it and whatnot. But if you stop him right there, and there's been instances, there was an AFC championship a couple of years ago where a player, Miles Jack, wasn't down and they blew him dead and he went to the end zone. I don't know if that happens in high school, but every ref you're going to see in NFL, no matter how egregious it is, they let him go to the end zone because they can at least go back and change it. I don't know if that's like that in high school.
Once the whistle blows, even in the NFL, that's the end of the play. So it was an inadvertent whistle because all the other team has to do is say like we heard the whistle, we stopped on the play. So they have to cancel the play. That's a little different than what you're talking about, Neeson. You're talking about if it's a penalty and the referee wants to call it, we can't.
No, I'm not saying it's a penalty. No. I'm saying
or something.
If it is a fumble and they think he's down, they blow it dead. You can't go back and say, "Oh, he wasn't down." Right?
He wasn't down, and that's a touchdown. No, that's not how.
But if you let him go, you can make the decision, And that's what I'm saying. Not with the penalty.
It was a designated play.
The first week, Kawaneski intercepted it in the end zone, and there was an inadvertent whistle, and all the referees looked around like, "What the heck? Who blew the whistle?" Because the guy was getting ready to return it, and it possibly could have been a pick six. There was like one guy to beat, and they blew the whistle after he intercepted it. So they ended up with the ball on the 20-yard line like a touchback. Fans for Kawaneski were pretty hot over that because that could have been a difference-making play,
Oh yeah.
Rightfully so.
And I'm not sure that because of the little number of referees we have, like the thin, so does that mean the referees that we got are not as good as if we had a full pool of referees? The pool's diluted kind of because you got people refereeing that are kind of forced their hand to referee because the PIAA is out there beating the sidewalk, getting people to, like when you go to the state finals, they got the PA tent down there recruiting referees. And how many people, like we're football guys, so we're football nerds, but how many guys are watching their grandson or whatever and they go, "Oh, I could make a couple extra bucks doing that." And that might be some of the guys you get out there refereeing that don't really know. They take the test online. I mean, how hard is that?
I was up covering a game at Susquehanna 2 Saturdays ago, and they looked like they were a light crew, Lindsay. And what they said was, the one ref said to the other one, he goes, "Yeah, these guys are complaining." There was like an assistant coach, and he walked right up to him, he turned to him, and he said, "Hey, you can go get certified to go take the class. You're done. You're on." Yep. So I wonder how much of that is really playing into it now because there's such a shortage.
Yep, and
desperation time now.
Absolutely, and I think the people they're getting to come in and take the jobs definitely aren't worthy. Some of them aren't worthy. I'm not saying all of them because there's a lot of great refs, but there's some of them that maybe after 2-3 years of doing it, maybe they should stay at youth football for 2-3 years or do JV. You know what I mean? But they're forced right into varsity because there's just not enough of them.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Not at all. We need referees. Stop complaining. Get off the referees' butts. Stop yelling at referees. I say it every week. Most of you people in the stands that are yelling at referees, you don't even know the rules. Like Some of the things you yell out, I'm sitting here going, yeah, no, that's not even right. That's not a rule. Or that's not how that's interpreted. I mean, sorry. The fans in the stands should just be fans in the stands. Do not try and judge the referees because there's only one person I know that knows the rules better than the referees, and that's Shane Lux. That's all I have to say about that.
That's right.
Hey, listen, we're going to come back. We're gonna unless you have any more.
No, I was just going to say one of my favorite things is when they make weird comments like that. I go back, I record the plays and whatnot. I'm like, you're wrong. I just watch the replay and say, no, you're right. You're not.
Yeah, there's many times I'll walk over to a coach with my phone and I'll be like, here's the video. You know,
I know it's baseball, but I hear a lot of chirping in the fans, and one of my favorite things to do sometimes is walk down the line towards the fan and ask them, hey, you want to borrow my gear and try it, and set them up instantly.
Yeah, really.
Have you ever had somebody say, "Yeah, give me that. I can't do worse than you," and take your spot?
Nope.
Nobody will do that. See, that's the thing.
I hit my eject button.
Yeah, nobody will do that. When I coached Little League one time, like years ago, and I had a guy come after me with a baseball bat. I did. I was like, wow, okay. Your fans are crazy. But yeah, he came after me with a baseball bat.
That's crazy.
It is. Youth fans are ridiculous.
People that are chirping have no clue.
They don't. So anyway, hey, listen. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about this week's big games, and we'll get to hear more from all these guys. But right now, we're gonna take a break. Hear from some of our sponsors. We'll be right back.
My name is Carlos Bradley. I'm a former NFL player and currently chairman of Safer Sports. What is Safer Sports? We are a soft shell technology company. Our product, the Safer Helmet Cover, has been tested at Virginia Tech Helmet Lab and is proven to reduce the risk of concussion by as much as 77%. So if you have a youth league, a high school or a college, and you want to be safer, get in touch with safersports.com.
I would recommend becoming an official because you can feel like you're a part of a sport that you love.
We officiate for the athletes and for the sport that we love, and so as long as you keep them first, then it's going to be a great experience.
So the money I've made from officiating for the past few years, I put all that money into savings to pay to finish my college education. In 6 months, when I complete that, I will not be in any debt.
Officiating the state championship and getting that call to officiate the state championship was an emotional thing for me, just because of what I've been through, the ups and downs, and getting that call really meant a lot to me. Sometimes I see student athletes that I officiated years and years ago, and they say, "Man, you did a great job. Thanks for everything you've done."
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Michael Sikorsky from the Funding Zone, the #1 fundraising company in the state of Pennsylvania. If you need help raising funds for your program, please contact us at 570-885-0900. Thank you.
The Cobalt Plus headset system delivers proven performance along with more users, more flexibility. That's why coaches across Pennsylvania trust Cobalt Plus. CoachCom makes tough headset systems for tough teams. We build headsets to help teams win. Call or click to learn more about Cobalt Plus from the proven leader in football communications.
Circle W Sports is the complete all-in-one platform for high school sports, designed by former athletes, coaches, and athletic directors. Circle W Sports gives school and team personnel an easier solution to run their entire athletic departments with the help of these features. League Manager makes creating master schedules a breeze. Configure your divisions, build schedules, track league all-stars, and much, much more. Referee Manager helps assign and track game officials in the same platform. And with RefPay, your officials can get paid within within hours instead of days or weeks. Enjoy live scoring and statistical services through our Performance Tracker and Stat Tracker apps. Learn how to track your workout or camp and combine statistics in real time. Then create any type of report after your results are tallied. The Stat Tracker app helps keep your fans involved, whether they are in the stands or at home, with live in-game stats. For more information, visit CircleWSports.com, the official online platforms of PA Football News and the PSFCA Big 33.
Welcome back. State of PA football. Billy Swain. These guys are all my staff. Awesome guys. We have North Central PA represented. Pittsburgh. We have South Central PA. We have Southeastern PA. We have Whippeal. And we have Northwestern. And I do Central. We have Northeastern PA. We have everything covered tonight's show. And welcome to the show, Ed Nicola. There he is, right there. Good to see you, Ed. Hey, listen, guys, that was fun.
Ed Nicola sighting.
I like the battle we had about the cameras and all that stuff. So that was great. Right now, I want to thank a couple more sponsors. So we're going to go through a couple of sponsors. I want to thank Advanced NIL. People need to know about NIL when they go into college football, and they're your experts. Go to advancednil.com. Quick Cuts, your alternative to Huddle. They also build your player team and anyone else film for you. He does a great job. Your storage is cheaper, so Quick Cuts. Check them out. I want to thank Go Route for being a sponsor on our website. Go Route is killing it with their coach to pitch communications. Willie, wait till that comes down to Little League, man. You'll be in trouble. I want to thank Parma Pizza. They were our sponsor last week. Yeah. They were our sponsor last week. Parma Pizza down in York. There's 7 locations. Go check them out. Great pizza. Got to thank Kevin from Sports Paradise. As soon as my mouse works. If you need a team store, if you need equipment, if you need shoulder pads, knee pads, Gatorade, whatever, he's your guy. Check him out. Sports Paradise and Kevin James. And of course, we want to thank the sponsors at the bottom of our page. We got to thank St. Luke's. We got to thank Safer Sports. We got to thank the Funding Zone for all making everything we do possible. Sorry, guys. I'm doing three things at once here. All right, so let's call this Hot Takes Part 2. Let's talk about what's coming up. We're going to go in the center of the state, and Mason, we're going to come to you. Montoursville 2-0 at Danville.
Yeah, how about this for a hot take? I think this Danville team is the favorite to come out of 3A and win the state title. I like everything they've gotten going. Madden Patrick is one of the top quarterbacks in the entire state. Bo Sheptok is as electric a running back as you can get. And I know they haven't really played that many opponents so far in terms of quality, but with 3A kind of being open with Bell Vernon leaving and whatnot, I do think this Danville team will be the favorite to come out of 3A. And if I'm a betting man, which I'm not because I'm not of age yet, so please do not be at my house trying to arrest me. I think this team will be lifting up the state championship trophy come November or December. So I think right now, for a hot take, Danville, my pick to win the 3A. They've been great so far. They can score and they can stop people on the other side. You know, football, so complicated of a game. But believe it or not, if you can score and stop people from scoring, you're going to be pretty solid. I think Danville's the best team in 3A.
Conneaut at Hickory. Shane?
Well, that's going to be a tall task for Conneaut. I mean, it's great for the Eagles being a 2-0, but Hickory is a very, very talented team. They got talent all across the board. Quarterback play with Xander Telez. He's been there a couple years. Kelvin Morrison has really came on as a sophomore this year. We knew he was going to be good as a freshman last year, 800-plus yards. They got Jaden Phillips, who's going to be a Division I athlete. He stepped right into the receiver role. Hickory, young team, but that's going to be a real tall task for the Eagles to try to go to Hermitage and win that game.
Other interesting games out that way. Northern Bedford at Wilmington. That should be a decent game. And Fort LaBeouf at Corey. We talked about that earlier. Letdown game for the Bison.
It's tough to say. It's really tough to say with Fort LaBeouf because, I mean, honestly, the opening week, they played a Meadville team that we know is pretty solid. Meadville returned almost 3,000 yards rushing, had some pieces in the offensive line they had to replace. But Meadville, being a bigger school, 4A school, that game was close. They lost it by, I think, 41-27. Last week, like you say, I mean, they can't have a letdown game because Corey beat a very good Titusville team in the opening week, a team that returns a lot of players. I know they had Ian McDonald back at quarterback, Jackson Koval at running back, Cameron Mong, who does a little bit of everything. The Rockets are going to be pretty solid. And, Corey, like I said, Nolan Carey, I got a chance to see them last year. Very good quarterback. He's thrown for almost 500 yards this year already. Nick Lesher has over 100 yards. And he's got a couple of talented guys to throw the ball to as well. Mason Savitz and I forget the other kid's name off the top of my head, but I know those are two pretty good receivers for them. And, yeah, Corey, I mean, I'm not 100% certain, but I believe they went down to 3A this year. Yep. They could be a team, I mean, are they good enough to win it? Especially for the Bison. I mean, they lost over 2,500 yards rushing last year. Aiden Lasek, Connor McChesney, all of those guys. I mean, for them to come back and have a sophomore like Dominic Walters step up and run the game-winning 76-yard touchdown against Farrell. I mean, he had 6 yards rushing as a freshman last year. So, shout out to the Bison for, again, finding a way to replace that. That's not easy for them. So, yeah, I'll be up at General McLean tomorrow in Edinburgh. Check out that game against Oil City. I'm not sure when the last time Oil City threw for 200 yards in a game, but they did that last week with Cole Findley. So, yeah, it's going to be another exciting week for sure. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks for that. Another game up that way worth watching is Slippery Rock at Sharon. Always a battle. Here's a big one. I think this is the biggest one in the Whippy. Beaver at Imani Christian. Anybody want to handle that one? Ed,
no doubt that's the game.
Ryan,
I mean, that's the game everyone's been looking at since the preseason. Imani has a lot of talented prospects that are getting recruited. Question is, are they going to have enough on the lines and in a big time game? Because a lot of times, they got guys who can get the corner and get in space without any resistance at all. A couple teams they played so a little bit down, West Catholic and Beaver Falls, both down for them, those programs. So I think Beaver's going to be the first chance to really see what Amani has and see what level they're going to be at.
I agree with that.
Central Valley. That's my isolation game for Friday.
Who had this one?
I'll
Central Valley.
That game. I got a bunch of games piling up in the bin to watch still, but that one That'll be a good one.
Who had this? Central Valley 0-2 against Belverin was 0 wins and 0 losses. That's a strange one. Belverin had no game in what they call week zero. Here at PA Football News, we have eliminated week zero. It's gone. This is week three right now. So Central Valley. Going by what Mason said, Central Valley, I think was our favorite. But boy, they got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. Belfont 2-0 at Bishop Guilfoyle 2-0. Should be an interesting. But it's a 4-18 against a 1-18. So I don't know. And Guilfoyle is still. I think they're out of Belfont's league. South Williamsport to try. Troy, Lindsay.
Yeah, that's going to be a good measuring stick game between the two teams. I know South Williamsport just lost to Canton this past week, but two different teams. We'll see how it shakes out. I think Troy will handle them probably by 3 touchdowns or better. But it'll be a good measuring stick, and going forward for South Williamsport, it'll probably be a good experience to play somebody that's better than them again, and they'll probably make a run for it after they get through with Troy, because I think the rest of their schedule is not too bad.
Bethel Park at Armstrong. Aliquippa at Avonworth. That's a strange game. Aliquippa at Avonworth. Ryan, you in on them?
So I don't have that game, but I do want to comment. Avonworth just played West Mifflin, who West Mifflin was supposed to be a solid team this year, with a freshman quarterback that turned heads at the Pitt camp, a sophomore running back that turned heads all last year. Haven't you guys seen him? He had 500 yards in at least 3 games at the end of the season for West Mifflin. And, I mean, we all know how Aliquippa is. This is they're about to go on year 5, hopefully winning the Whitfield for them. I mean, they were my pick for to win Whitfield again, because this team has a lot against them this year, with all the news with the off season, with them moving up and then going back down, and then the PIAA trying to move them again. So they're a hungry team who I think when they go, they're going to be a buzzsaw this year again, as we all expected them to be. And I actually think Avonworth is going to give them their best game of the season, because Avonworth is a solid team overall. And if they didn't have that hour and a half delay that they had against West Mifflin last week, I think it would have been a bigger deficit for West Mifflin. And I think Avonworth has the chance to give Aliquippa a very good game.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting matchup. Here's another one that we're looking forward to in our rankings group. Greater Latrobe at Norwin. Both 2-0 teams. And then we have Is this the week? Pittsburgh Central Catholic gets a win. They play Woodland Hills. I don't know, man. Can they stop Smith? That's a tough one.
See, I covered the week 1 matchup that we call week 1 is week 0 against when Central played that team from Maryland. A lot from last year, and you can see that in their team overall. I mean, let's not even talk about the defense. Just in the offensive standpoint, they lost their starting quarterback from last year, and they have a kid who's been sitting 3 years behind Peyton, who doesn't anticipate what's going on with the game. He throws it right at the receiver and doesn't lead the receivers down the field as much as he should. And I think that's going to be their Achilles heel, is going to be the quarterback play, because they did lost arguably a Division II talent that Peyton was. So
yeah, I agree.
I actually don't think Central's going to pick up the win this week. I think they're going to be a little bit for them to even get their first win.
They are due with them being over, but I agree about the quarterback. Gomper's really put that team on his back, both sides of the ball right now. I think some of the others need to pick up their play. If you guys saw the game against Pine Richland, and they didn't have enough on the offensive side. No no rhythm at all. Defense played pretty well. I think the defense will show up again and play pretty well. I mean, they lost all those linebackers and everything, but they're still pretty good on defensive side. Faulkner's a good running back on offense. They need to get a little bit continuity and rhythm. Finish high. See what happens.
Williams Valley at Nativity. I think Williams Valley is again a good football team. Contrary to what we thought in week zero or week one, whatever you want to call it. They have another Achenbach kid. So look for the Vikings to probably put the stompers on a resurging Nativity BVM. Strathaven and Ridley. Willie. You're on, Willie.
That's going two undefeated teams, two traditional Central League powers. Yep, the traditional Central League powers. That's an old-fashioned Central League showdown that I'm looking forward to seeing the result of that. I saw Ridley in week one, or what we call week one against Central Bucks East, and their defense played phenomenal. And you can never count out Kevin Clancy's wing T offense, so that's going to be an interesting game.
Morrisville and Pequea Valley. Who thought both those teams would be 2-0? That's crazy, man. So I just can't believe it. Cedar Cliff 2-0 at CD East. CD East has a really looking team. I think they'll do good this year. They're in that conference down in Harrisburg, the Commonwealth. That's going to be a tough one for them. Wyoming Valley West at Western Wayne. Jared.
Yeah, Western Wayne is it's a pretty dominant squad right now. I haven't played the best teams yet, although they did really handle Lacko on a trail last week, which surprised me. And I've been looking to see a little bit more into that game because we had trail highly rated. But Western Wayne is tough on the ground. Running back Josh Vinton for them. This kid can really pour it on, and he's not a huge kid, but he's a little lower to the ground. He is hard to bring down. And once he gets going, he's got that big line in front of him, and once he gets going, he's gone. He just has a second gear, which is wonderful. And Valley West, I feel so badly because we like Coach Bob Stellman. He's such a great guy.
Yeah, he is a great guy.
Yeah, the deck is just stacked against him. There's just not enough going on, and I'm not really sure what it is. They've got new turf down there. There's obviously some interest in people, getting behind that program and wanting to make that program better than it's been. And everybody I talk to in District 2 and Wyoming Valley Conference all say the same thing. We are all better if Wyoming Valley West is a better team, and it's just, unfortunately, they have not been, and we're just looking for them to turn a corner. It just hasn't happened yet.
It's Wyoming area, not Wyoming Valley West, so just whatever you said.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Wyoming area.
It's not that, Wyoming area takes on Western Wayne, so yeah.
Oh.
Continue. Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. I read that wrong.
Let's back it up because I didn't even do my picks yet, Mason. That's how deep into work I've been. That's got to be, for me, that has to be the game of the week up here. I don't think there's any question as far as I'm concerned. Both of those teams are rolling. And Wyoming area on defense, they just don't worry about anything. They don't care who they face. They just line up and smash the ball. They've got two good running backs. One of them's banged up right now, but you see what happens when you bring in your backup running back and the kid gains over 300 yards against the defending 4A state runner-ups. It's going to be a crazy game. I think Wyoming area probably gets the win, but I would not surprise me to see a really, really close game coming right down to the end on that one. And if I wasn't covering Canisius at Grand Prep on Friday, that's where I would be. I would be at that game.
Yeah, I don't want to take a victory lap just yet, but on our Wyoming Valley West or Wyoming Valley Conference, now I'm doing it, podcast, I said Wyoming area would be the best team in the conference. You said the defense. I'm not too hyped about this defense. I mean, they allowed 41 to Dallas, 21 to Crestwood, so that puts them at 31 points per game allowed. Western Wayne, took it to Lackawanna Trail. Yeah, a really, really good game up in Western Wayne. These are probably two of the most impressive teams in the area in terms of early season resume. When you talk about Wyoming area going at Crestwood and getting a win, and then home against Dallas, who Dallas is a big storyline at 0-2, defending state runner-up. So that's going to be a really big game against two big-time schools. And I think this week between those two teams is really going to tell how good they are. Right? Whoever wins, you can catapult them into a real legitimate contender. Whoever loses, let's slow the roll just a little bit.
Because I tried a different setting. So State College, yeah. Harrisburg. That's going to be a battle right there. I can't believe how big a battle that has turned into. Saturday, Chester at Imhotep. Willie.
That is going to be a monumental game. You have the defending 5A champions, Imhotep, hosting a team that many are considering one of the favorites to come out of District 1, 5A Chester. So what better way to see how far a Dennis Saul's Chester team is than to compete with the defending 5A champions. Obviously, a team that in Chester that got aspirations to make the District 1 championship after reaching it last year against the defending 5A state champions who are now up in 6A. That's going to be a phenomenal game. I would personally like to wish I could be able to watch that game, but I know we have Noah Stancy going to be there for us covering that one, and I'm glad. I'm looking forward to seeing that result. I'm going to be watching very closely to see that one.
Westchester Ruston, PJP. We think that's going to be a good game. That's going to be smash mouth football against skill football right there. We're going to see how good Pope John Paul is this year. We have Red Bank Valley
exactly.
at Port. That's going to be a big game. Cambria Heights at Marion Center. And let's close it off with Stroudsburg at Bethlehem Liberty. So that's our big game hunting. Excited to see some football. Guys, tell everybody where you're going to be this weekend. Lindsay. Lindsay, you're still muted.
Okay, sorry. I'm going to be at Wyalusing at Wellsboro tomorrow night. Friday night, I'm going to be at South Williamsport at Troy. And on Saturday, I'm going to be at the Athens at Canton game.
Awesome. How about it, Ryan? What you got?
So this week, I got a big game in Whitfield. This is TJ versus McKeesport at Thomas Jefferson.
That is a big game. We'll see if McKeesport gets that win. Jared, where you heading?
Tomorrow night, I'm going up to see Pocono Mountain East at Scranton. And then Friday night, I got a big one. It's Canisius in New York at Scranton Prep at Dunmore Veterans Memorial Stadium.
Mason. What do you got?
Yeah, Friday night I'll be up Lackawanna Trail will take on Berwick in Week 3 action. Berwick looking for their first win. It's going to be tough against the Lackawanna Trail team. And then Saturday, I'll make the hour-and-a-half trip down to Beaver Stadium for what seems to be just beautiful weather. Clear skies, 80 degrees. No, it's going to be low 60s, rainy and miserable, but it's college football Saturday. Can't go.
You will be able to find me in Herndon, Pennsylvania, as the Line Mountain Eagles take on the Juniata Indians Friday night at 7.
That's a good one.
Shane,
what do you got?
Football game.
Thursday night, I'll be in Edinburgh. I'll be covering Oil City at General McLean. Friday night, it'll be Elwood City at Neshannock, and then I'll do the Saturday doubleheader of Mercyhurst Prep at Northwestern and Greenville at Cambridge Springs.
And Ed watches online. What are you looking at this weekend, buddy?
Well, my isolation game going to be Friday night, Beaver and Amani. That's been circled for a while, and then I'll have all kind of stuff in a D buff online. I'll be watching film all week. It's still backed up from last week. Some games I got to see, but it will be Amani and Beaver Friday night, and then as much film as I can get my eyes on the rest of the week, pretty much. But that'll be the Friday night. Looking forward to that one.
Awesome. And Willie, what do you got?
Well, tomorrow night I'm starting off with the Central League battle between Pencrest, Fairhaven to Garnet Valley. Then Friday night I'm going up to Owens J. Roberts as they host Great Valley in one of the PAC Pioneer Athletic Conference Sesmont crossover games. And then Saturday night I'll be going to see the St. Joseph Prep versus Emmaus Hall. I hope I said that school name correct.
Right.
That's a good lineup, Willie. Friday night, I'm going to
Erasmus Hall, maybe? Is that the one Brooklyn team?
It.
Erasmus Hall in Brooklyn?
Yes.
Yep, Friday night I'll be to Mifflin County. I'm going to watch Mifflin County take on 2-0 Mechanicsburg. I have not decided where I'm going Thursday. Probably going to stay home this week. I'm thinking about planning a Philly trip next week. And then on Saturday, there are no games close to me that are not covered because we have 60 some people out there covering football all over the place. And there's only like 25 games on Saturday. So I may be doing scores on Saturday. But for you out there, and I can say this with my echo, and I apologize for this. There's been an echo apparently all show long, and I didn't know it until the end. Get out, watch a high school football game. The pros can wait, colleges can wait. These kids, they only got a couple years to put it on the field for you. Two, some of them three. So get out and watch a high school football game. It's worth your time. They work very hard for your community, and they deserve your attention. I'm Billy. This is PA Football News presents the State of PA Football. We'll see you all next week. Live, probably in Philadelphia. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again.
At PAFootballNews.com, we coverage of high school football in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Check out PAFootballNews.com. From schedules to rankings, game coverage to Friday night scoreboard, live streams, and more, PA Football News.